great big black guy, bald-headed with a razor cut on his head. And when I met him, I described him to some people. He was 285 pounds of bad attitude. Lenny pulls up at a traffic light. The light's red. The light changes. Apparently, Lenny didn't get off the mark fast enough. The guy in back of him blows his horn. Lenny pulls up the handbrake on his car, gets out, walks back, blows the guy's brains out, all over the inside of the car. That's Lenny. That was the case. Well, there was no case. I started doing background checks to try to find something to help me. Lenny had been an orderly at the Veterans Hospital, which at that time was not over in Decatur, it was out on Peachtree Industrial. And he was an orderly in the psycho ward. So I talked to a lot of the doctors, I talked to the nurses, trying to find that streak of violence. And they said, no, he's totally nonviolent. And they said the reason he is so effective is he's so big and he's so strong that when one of the veterans goes off the deep end, he can bear hug them and hold them till we can get there with a hypo. So I said, man, that's totally out of character. So in talking to Lenny, I said, tell me about your job at the hospital. And he went on and told me all about it and this, that, and the other. And I said, do those guys get violent? He said, yeah. He said, I carry keys to all the doors. And he said, one time, one of the vets snuck up behind me with a metal bedpan and hit me in the head. He said, it put me on my knees. And I said, and he said, there was no way that he was going to get out of there. And I said, I baited him. And I said, man, you probably beat the hell out of him. And he said, no. He said, those guys, he said, there's no way of knowing what the torment is in their mind. He said, I bear hug them until the woman can get there with a shot. And I think it was something probably equivalent to Thorazine. It would put them down immediately. And he said, I would never hurt one of them. But it was one of those inconsistent things where Lenny, he had a bad day. And the thing that saved Lenny, I told Lenny going in, I said, we've got two options. I said, if I win, you're going to get life in prison. But it means 7.5 years. And I said, if I lose, they're going to electrocute you. Now they're using injection, but back then it was electrocution. I said, Lenny, the only thing that we've got going for us is you're black and you killed a black man. Now remember, Richard, it's a different era. I said, if you had killed a white man, you're gone. I said, I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying that's the way it is. That's the world we live in. So Lenny was convicted, but he was given life in prison. He served 7.5 years, came back to Atlanta, and worked for me until a stroke killed him.